I am Dracula. I bid you welcome. We got a vampire story. This is going to be great. From the mystical mountains of Romania, we're going to bring you the real story behind Count Dracula. And yes, he was a real person. And I would say the truth of this story is far more terrifying than what you see on movies and TV shows.
Dracula was real?
No, Dracula as portrayed was not real, but there was a real Dracula.
Okay, I'm excited. I love vampires.
This is Where'd Everyone Go? With me, Sasha Auerbach.
And me, Tom Ward. A journey into the weird history of abandoned places.
So, video's up now, and you can see this steep-sided forested valley with a river running along the bottom. We're in the Carpathian Mountains, and it's a pretty stunning landscape.
Yeah, it is. And there are loads of mountain peaks here, but on top of one is this ruined castle.
Yeah, and even from the ruins, you can tell by those thick walls, it was a proper fortress. But there's a lot of damage. Looked like you had a pretty dramatic end, eh?
It does. So, who was this real Dracula, and where are we going, Sash?
Well, this was one of his most important castles, but let's begin with who the real Dracula actually is. It's easy to explain this. The easiest way to explain this is by starting with his father, who was born around 1395 and was called Vlad Dracul, which the English translation would be Vlad the Dragon. He was given the name because he was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a military fraternity dedicated to halting the Ottoman Turkish advance into Europe. Some great historical battles of the time. So when Vlad had a son, he's automatically given the title Dracul A, which means son of Dracul.
A means son?
You put A at the end, son of, yes.
Okay. That's never has an A done more heavy lifting on a word.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Dracul is nice. Dracula.
Yeah, well, let's be happy it wasn't Eni, because no one would want to hear the legend of Count Draculini.
Draculini?
Yeah, you'd probably think it's a dessert in a nice Italian restaurant, right? I'll have a Draculini with my espresso.
Why do you hang out with this Draculini, silly boy?
He's a silly boy.
Why don't you hang out with Dracula?
Exactly.
Nice boy, strong boy.
Strong boy. Strong name, strong boy.
Scary, menacing, nasty.
Now, he wasn't the only one that got a cool name. Vlad Dracul had other sons. They don't become Dracula, but they still had some cool nicknames. You ready for these?
Go for it.
We had Radu the Handsome.
Nice.
Vlad the Monk. And Vlad Dracula had a son called Minia the Bad.
Minia the Bad?
Now, I don't know if it's like Minia the Bad or Minia like bad.
Bad.
Bad Minia. Like you peed on the rug again, Minia. Bad Minia. Bad.
It's, if you were a kid and you kicked your ball into their garden, and then someone told you the names of the people in the house, it's hard to know how you'd feel about knocking.
I'd leave the ball where it lay.
Yeah?
I think. I'd be like, I can get other balls.
The handsome guy's all right. Who was the other one?
Vlad the Monk.
The monk, the handsome, you'd be like, okay, probably, but then the bad.
The bad, yeah.
You're just too worried about him opening the door.
He can have the ball. That's okay. Anyway, back to our man Vlad Dracula. He was born around 1430 in the Transylvania region of what is today Romania, and he would grow up to become the ruler of Wallachia, which is a region just south of Transylvania. This region needed a lot of protecting because it was caught between the expanding Ottoman Empire on one side and the Kingdom of Hungary on the other, which finally brings us to our castle. It's called Poenari, and it's one of Vlad's fortified homes.
Okay, so what do we know about this castle? Is it standard castle-y stuff?
Well, we think of castles today as, the old homes of aristocrats, but we should remember that castles started as fortifications. I mean, they were military structures, by and large. But we'll get back to the military part. Let's start with a couple of nice legends. Now, it's said that Dracula's wife threw herself off of these walls when the castle was under siege, and apparently his son was able to shoot an arrow from a nearby mountain peak into the castle. You're asking, well, that doesn't seem like a very nice thing to do. That seems like something that Minhea the Bad would do. But the goal was to warn people in the castle that an enemy attack was coming. You could see more from the mountain peak. So a signal, a warning signal.
You had to be a better shot back in the day, didn't you? You had like one, that was it. But why was she throwing herself off?
I don't know. I don't know. Basically, maybe to avoid being captured during the siege and, violated or whatever.
Okay.
We don't know much about that story. But those are legends. Those are legends. We do have some more factual details. So the way the castle was constructed, it had a kind of killing zone. This was an entryway designed to funnel invaders into a narrow space where a trapdoor would close behind them, and archers standing above could then fire down and just kill them at will.
Okay, that's that's a nice, easy shift for the archers.
Well,
isn't it?
when you look at these fortresses and these really well built castles from the top down, you see they're often set up so that there are these traps, like that they funnel the invaders into these regions, or you have a gate that you can close on both sides when they're in between the two, and then they're stuck. It wasn't just about the walls and the towers; it was about creating a favorable environment for defense.
That's a horrible moment, I'm guessing, if you realize you've just been funneled into this thing and then you look up and there's just a bunch of guys.
Why do you think people preferred to lay siege to a castle rather than assault it, right? Instead, you build your own counterwall around it and you try to starve them out, because eventually the folks inside will run out of food.
Right.
But then you run into another problem, which is people laying the siege might also start to run out of food. Disease might spread. What if an ally shows up and counterattacks? I mean, castles are strong, but they're not impregnable. But then sieges aren't foolproof either.
There might be some squabbling amongst the archers if you've got the new guys who can't even hit. Shoot fish in a barrel.
I just want to fire over the thing. Can we fire over?
I want to shoot over there, long way, proper.
Oh, look, a bird.
I don't want to be the sucker who's like shooting people. They're right there.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was told I'd get a crossbow.
Yeah. What is this?
So, now, this killing zone is actually, as I mentioned, this is a standard tactic. But Vlad Dracula had some more unique things that he liked to do to cause terror.
This word unique is making me nervous.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, Ottoman messengers who refused to take off their turbans in his presence, well, he had their hats nailed to their heads as punishment. Yeah.
I mean, rules are rules, but it's going to make it harder to take it off next time.
Fear, even more so than a killing zone and a strong castle, fear is a powerful weapon.
Yep.
And it gets worse. So, Dracula's first name is Vlad. Have you heard of any other historical Vlads?
Well, there's Vlad the Warmonger.
Is there?
Of 2024, 25. 23.
Oh, the current Vlad the Warmonger.
Current
point.
Vlad the Warmonger. Vlad, is there Vlad the Impaler?
Ah, Vlad the Impaler. Now, Vlad the Impaler was also Vlad Dracula. They are the same person. So
I don't like Dracula now because that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it does.
I don't even know what impaling means. But it's one of those words where you hear it, it's like molest or grope. You don't even need to know what it means to feel kind of queasy.
I'm glad we're not talking about Vlad the Groper, because I'd have to know about that story. Now, but you've already hit on what he was famous for doing. So, and I can tell by your face, like, you want some more details about what impaling is really about.
Yeah, what does it mean?
Oh, yeah.
Do I want to know?
You don't. You really don't.
Really?
But I'm going to tell you anyway. His most iconic historical episode was when he captured soldiers from an Ottoman army that was pursuing him and impaled them all around the outskirts of a city. Spikes right through them. So that when the rest of the Turkish army arrived at the outskirts, they would be terrified by confronting a forest of their impaled comrades.
Would they have been still alive, kind of wriggling around and all that sort of stuff?
I can't tell you much about the mechanics of impalement. I mean, I guess you survive for a bit.
Yeah.
Depends on where you're impaled.
That's horrible. So he had people doing it for him, or he did it all himself?
I'm sure he had, like, a crew of semi-professional impalers.
Right.
Probably didn't get it right the first couple of times, which must have been really gruesome. Like, we were trying to impale him, but it just kind of stuck.
Well, keep trying.
Keep trying.
As long as they suffer, I don't care.
Did you use a sharp stick? Oh, a sharp stick. Yeah,
Wow.
we should have thought of that one.
Yeah.
They were just going to use a blunt one.
And you said it was his most iconic episode, which the word iconic feels a little generous.
Well, I mean, it earned him the nickname Vlad the Impaler.
Right.
So you got to do a lot of impaling before you get the title.
I mean, I don't want to kink shame the guy, but even in the 1400s, I'm guessing this was pretty unpleasant behavior.
Yeah. Also,
don't give me that. It was a different time.
And apparently he developed a taste for it. He loved inviting foreign diplomats to dinner and then just impaling them afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, that's not good hosting.
No, it's like, so what would you like for dessert? Would you like the flan? Or, oh, sharp stick up the ruck.
I don't like the sound of this guy.
No.
And it's a lot less sexy than the sort of presentation of Dracula in the movies.
Yeah.
Although that guy is biting necks and causing damage, but there's a kind of
romance to, he's
something there.
Striking figure.
There's something in it for the women usually, at least.
Yes.
There seems to be a kind of swooning.
There's
kind
nothing.
Of seduction.
There's nothing. This is like the worst Hinge date ever.
Yeah.
So Vlad enjoyed public displays of impalement and sometimes would host, I couldn't make this up, impalement competitions to see who could produce the most gruesome and elaborate methods of this terrible torture and execution.
Right.
So let me ask you, who's more terrifying to you now? The legend of Count Dracula or the actual Vlad Dracula?
Vlad.
Yeah, I think we got to go with the actual.
Yeah.
History is far more terrifying than fiction. So thanks to his ruthless brutality, Vlad was a feared and powerful leader in this part of Europe. But there were those that thought he was getting bit too big for his boots. So you might be thinking that other warriors wanted to bring him down, other aristocrats, bring him down with force. Well, think again. One well-known attempt to hurt his popularity was actually an early form of slander and fake news. Perhaps the first one ever.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the hammering nails thing wasn't enough to tarnish his reputation.
Nope. And if you think getting outed on Facebook or wherever is tough now, like these guys really went full on to try to embarrass him. And so what they did is this was a bunch of priests from Brasov, a big city in Transylvania. They paid around 200 gold coins, an absolute fortune at the time, to have the first ever newspaper, which was being printed in Germany. In that newspaper, they had Vlad the Impaler described as a real vampire, one who drank children's blood and ate human flesh. And they even published a drawing, I think it's actually a woodcut, showing him sitting at a table surrounded by his impaled victims, dining on human flesh.
I mean, they always go for the child's blood thing, don't they? When they're trying to slander someone, the child's blood is a real classic. They still use that now, don't they? When they try and slur American politicians.
Yeah.
They're like, by the way, the Democrat.
Well, the corruption of innocence. Like, what's the most evil deed someone can commit?
But they always do it with like chat show hosts and the nicest actor, don't they? Oh, do you know Tom Hanks? He actually drinks child's blood before a role.
They
always come up with this.
Hanks?
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Jeez, poor Tom.
But they always come for the guy,
Nice
the people
guy.
that seem that Oprah. They always say, by the way,
dines on child's flesh.
They always come for it, and it's like that's a way to just kind of maybe you don't know everything about Oprah. You know what I mean? But this is an old technique, and I like the fact that the drawing would have been. That would have been published, and it's like, here we have proof.
Yes,
look, drawing.
We've made this primitive woodcut of this man dining on human flesh.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be real. See people arguing about it at the dinner table. Like there's some people that read this newspaper, and there's others that don't, and they're like, no, that's fake news. And it's how do you know? Came up on my on my woodblock feed. It's real, I tell you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's get back to our man.
So the guy that wrote the first Dracula book, what was his name?
Bram Stoker.
Okay. Right, so he must have stolen the blood thing from this whole impaler guy.
Well, kind of. There's more to it than that, isn't there always, right? Bram Stoker published the book called Dracula in 1897. He read up a lot on Transylvania folklore and found out that a lot of people actually believed in vampires back during this time.
Okay. Well, gotta have something to believe in.
Yeah. So here's Mate to tell us more.
So one of the most crazy superstition that we have when there is a problem like epidemic or pandemic moment and people are dying and you have no idea why, we start to search in the village And if we find out that he died and he had an unfinished business with his family or with some enemies, we go at the graveyard, we dig into the tomb, and then after that, in order to make sure that he will never come back again, we have to cut the head with the silver dagger, and then we take the head, we place the head between the legs, and we cut the hands also, and we place them nearby the legs, and we put some big rocks on the hands to make sure that he will never take his head and place it back and come and kill people in the village.
It seems very convoluted way to deal with someone. Why not just take the hands and throw them in the sea or something?
I mean, I was going to say, you're an East London boy. I would imagine you find this a very mild way to deal with the neighborhood
North
problem.
London, actually.
Sorry, North London. So even milder.
Yeah, we have a very strict code over there. If we find out someone has unfinished business, we dig them up. We burn them in the town square, just near Hornsey train station.
Ah, yes, the Hornsey burning place.
Yeah, and then we sort of dance around them
and then go for a kebab.
And then we take the ashes and we scatter them so that they can't reform and start their unfinished business again.
Yeah, and even for like minor offenses, like blocking someone's garage.
You're borrowing a hammer.
Yeah.
For some,
borrowing a hammer for too long.
Amateur impaling. I'm just trying to get into impaling. Has anyone got any tips? Please like and share if you know anyone who can help.
Not giving a full pint at the pub. Oh.
Yeah, that's a little too frothy.
Gonna burn you and scatter your ashes, you bastard.
Unfinished business, you hear? So Bram Stoker, the author, has taken a few of these facts and legends around Dracula and just had some fun from the sounds of it.
Yeah, but the strange thing is that Stoker never mentioned Vlad Dracula in the hundreds of pages of notes that accompanied the original book. And this has led some scholars to debate the link, and some even suggest he based his character on a Hungarian woman called Elizabeth Bathory, who was accused of killing hundreds of girls and women and became imprisoned in a castle.
It's always more freaky when a woman does it, isn't it? I don't know why is that? We don't expect that from women.
Gender bias. Women are just as capable of killing. It's just that, we have these societal ideas and we can slot women into these roles, but they're very inaccurate,
Do you think if we didn't, there would be more women doing it?
Well, I mean, personally, I'd like to see fewer people murdering other people completely, but I think certainly studies have shown that women are no less capable of violence than men are.
Just haven't had the opportunities.
Well, again, societal pressure, it seems like more of a taboo for it to happen.
I wanted to get into killing, but I just did. My husband never made me feel like I could.
Yeah. But when they
wanted to do it, he'd say, "No, you stay at home and keep the house nice." I wanted to be out killing too. I've always had a thing for impaling. I used to impale all my pets. My brother got the blame, but it was me. I wanted the credit. But no, you slot into roles, don't you? Society does its thing, and I'll just live out my days and, hopefully get my chance. If I get a chance to do some impaling and killing, I will take it, but, the patriarchy runs deep.
The patriarchy does run deep, no pun intended. So back to our man.
So what is the actual Dracula story?
Well, let's get to it after the ad break. The novel, Dracula, is a gothic horror about a Romanian nobleman turned vampire, who's called Count Dracula, who leaves his castle in Transylvania to terrorize the English seaside town of Whitby. And a vampire hunter called Abraham Van Helsing eventually tracks him down and kills him.
Okay. I'm guessing that's been quite good for the Whitby Tourist Board. So what happened to the actual Vlad? Did he just sort of live out his days, maybe getting into gentler acts of puncturing, acupuncture maybe? Or did the slander of the priests sort of work? Did he go after the priests?
Well,
impale the priests?
Such violent delights have violent ends. In 1492, Dracula finally met his match, the great Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II. He drives Dracula out of his castle atop the mountain, Ponari, and forces him to flee.
That's pretty impressive. Sorry. That's pretty impressive. I mean, getting Vlad to flee, this guy must be seriously scary.
We don't know how he did it. I mean, Mehmed had a large army. He was very well organized. I mean, maybe Vlad just decided discretion was the better part of valor. What we do know is that isn't when all the damage was done to the castle. That happened in a landslide caused by a much more mundane event, an earthquake in 1913.
Okay, so hang on, where did Vlad go?
Well, this is debated, but some historians believe it was to another castle, Bran Castle, about 40 miles east. And we have some video of this castle, too.
Nice. Ooh, this one looks in far nicer condition than the other one. More like a fairy tale sort of castle.
Yeah, it's got Disney vibes for sure. It has these imposing towers and turrets, and it's built on a rocky pier, but it's nowhere near the kind of fortress feel of the other one.
Yeah, it's perched on this cliff, or rocky outcrop. Not like a mountaintop like the other one, but it still looks pretty impressive.
Yeah. So Vlad hides here, but when he goes to leave using a secret passage, people are waiting for him. His enemy had spies embedded in the castle, and he's put straight into the dungeons.
Justice for the impaled at last.
Yeah. So some people call this Dracula's castle too because of the historical link and because of how beautiful it is. I mean, you won't be surprised to know this is the one that gets all the tourists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're quite basic in that way, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not in it for the truth, are they?
Show them a turret and a tile roof and they get all excited.
There's probably a Starbucks in there.
Probably 3.
Can we go to the gift shop?
I want a mini impaling stick. It's like a puppet just sits there and dangles.
There's no real gift shop in history, lady.
It would be funny if they were just selling sharp sticks for like 10 euros a pop.
Yeah, rubber nails.
Can I get a crossbow or something? No, all we have is sharp sticks, 10 euros.
A kid's starter kit.
Start a kit. Yeah. Impale your cats. Impress your friends. I love cats. So
I do too.
I'm not trying to give any ideas.
I love them both alive and impaled.
Oh,
it's a toss-up for me.
It's a toss. Jeez. I do not subscribe to this for anyone listening at home. Anti-cat violence.
Yeah, but please subscribe.
Yeah. All right, back to our man Vlad. Well, after 2 months in the dungeons, he's released and soon returns to power. But then in another battle, the Ottomans finally kill him and have his head sent to the Sultan as a trophy. And I'm wondering, I know from my old Dungeons and Dragons days, right, that there's, and reading about these legends, there's this very complex set of circumstances you have to keep a vampire dead, right? Because it's undead, so you can't just kill him in a normal way and stake through the heart and so on and so forth. And I'm wondering, one of the things, the legends, is that to keep them dead, you have to cut their head off. And I'm wondering if maybe this is where that legend came from, that his head. But, frankly, there was a lot of beheading going on back in the day, and it's a good way to show that you've killed someone. So
yeah.
Maybe there's no connection.
Why not just burn the body? Then it's all just, you can't...
Yeah. That's another thing you're supposed to do to vampires or the undead in general. Again, it's just as the stories go, they don't really exist, of course.
I'm just surprised he was only in the dungeon for 2 months. I mean, what does a guy need to do to get life?
Well, he was a powerful guy. I mean, he probably had allies and
good behavior down there.
And also remember that he was the one
didn't puncture any of the guards.
Sure, can I do a little impaling?
Can I just have one nail?
Just give me like a little skewer with some rats. No, but this is a guy who's used terror as a tool. To try to protect this region from the Ottomans on one side and the Hungarians on the other. And as I said, like, terror and fear are worth 5,000 soldiers if you can convince people that you are so frightening that you just shouldn't be messed with.
Yeah, it keeps them in check, doesn't it?
Exactly.
You're in their heads.
Yeah. Now, the location of his grave is a mystery. We still don't know where he was finally interred.
If he is dead.
Yeah, he's dead. The vampires aren't real, Tom. Don't worry. Let's not give Lewis nightmares.
Right.
He's already on the edge.
Yeah, he's still recovering from the catacombs in Odessa.
Yeah. We don't need to. It's like, the vampire's coming from because we made fun of impaling.
So Vlad would be 700 now. About 700. What we're talking? 1400s.
Yeah. Yep. That body is definitely moldered into
600 and something.
Yeah.
But all that child's blood keeps you young.
I hate to tell you this, Tom, but there ain't no coming back.
Right, okay. Ellen DeGeneres is 300. And we all know why.
Impaling?
Blood, the children. Keeps you sparky.
So back to our man again.
So what are the
Definitely dead.
What do the Romanians think of Vlad? What's his legacy?
Well, Romanians, by all accounts, love him. He's their national hero. And here's Matei again to explain.
People are still waiting for him to come back because he actually succeeded in 6 years of as he was the governor. The economy increased a lot, the army got way better, and something that we even today we think it's impossible to do, to erase the corruption. He erased the corruption in his personal way, killing people and impaled them, or sometimes when the rival family were betrayed him, he used to boil the son and then force the mother or the father to eat the son in the front of his entire family. Horrible things. But he's not the first king which ever did that, not only in Romania, in order to keep the power. But as a national hero, and the reason we love him is because he raised the corruption.
Oh my God.
You know, a lot of people complain quite rightly about the normalization of extreme politics, but this is really some next level stuff.
Yeah, I like the way he was like, he wasn't the first to do
He
it.
wasn't Romania is beautiful, but this story makes me kind of a little bit more cautious about planning my next holiday.
Yeah.
Parking ticket. So what's the penalty for a parking ticket? Well, first we impale you, and then we
Yeah.
boil you, and we make your son eat you.
If you're on a double yellow.
So, I mean, the sign clearly says no parking. It's like,
Yeah.
it says it in Romanian. It's like, that's no excuse.
Yeah, you don't want to know what they're going to do if you park on a red line.
Launch you off the catapult onto a bed of spikes.
Yeah.
And then mince you.
And
and send a pie to all your relatives.
Yeah. I think that he wasn't corrupt. Did he say he wasn't
That was
corrupt?
Great. He fought corruption.
He fought corruption.
Mostly by impaling people.
Yeah, some would say that, murdering people and forcing their relatives to eat them is kind of corrupt. I don't know where you draw the line on corruption.
What happened to Breslov? Oh, didn't you hear? He cheated on his taxes. Well, what'd they do with him? But they impaled him like 18 times.
Yeah. It's like corruption's usually associated with documents going missing, invoices being forged.
Yeah, maybe a fine or
Yeah,
a custodial sentence, but not having a 6-foot steel spike rammed up yet.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's going to reduce corruption, but I think it does increase other things, which you would argue are worse.
You can't argue with success.
Yeah, he got the results, but at what cost? I don't really know whether it was worth it. But hey, if society was well behaved,
yeah.
But is that everything? I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta have. I mean, I think the punishment should fit the crime.
Yeah,
I really do. Now, interestingly, this positive view of him, got a boost when the communists took control of Romania. The communists confiscated everything that the royal family possessed. But because they were still popular, Ceausescu realized that the Communist Party needed new heroes. So he pushed the idea of Vlad rather than the royal family as the Romanian national hero.
Playing the crowd, Nikolai. Always playing the crowd, wasn't he?
I guess so. He was a dangerous dictator, that dude.
Didn't impale anyone, though.
That we know about.
Yeah.
Just threw hundreds in jail, executed hundreds, had
forced
prison
abortions.
Camps. Yeah, no, not a good guy.
And then obviously, I think it's a bad sign if your own people storm your house and murder you on television. That probably means that you've pissed off a few people.
Probably means that you are unpopular.
Yeah.
I did hear a comedian once talking about growing up in Romania and how he watched executions on television.
Wow.
Like, why did you watch executions on television? He goes, well, there were only a couple channels,
right?
And so it's the executions or
Romanian Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, or something even more boring. So we watched executions. It's like, wow, that makes a strange kind of sense.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or some other glossy TV movie version of Dracula's life story, which they all were bored of.
It's just running on repeat, like a Christmas story.
There's not enough impaling. This is softened. This is being cleaned up.
We want the real stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if they turned it into a reality TV show, that would be Who Wants to Be Impaled.
Yeah, there'd be people, wouldn't there? There's
I'd
always
probably
people.
only run for one season, I think, for people caught on.
There'd be people who want to do it. The thirst for fame is...
That's better than that Japanese television show where you eat too much spaghetti and they don't let you use the bathroom.
Yeah, or eat
rather than
worms
impaling
in a phone box or whatever they make them do.
Man, no one gets tired of humiliation, apparently. I know I never do.
Yeah. So this Vlad guy, Dracula, yeah, he's kind of become softened. His legacy doesn't seem, obviously Dracula and the Impaler are not linked so strongly that people go, oh, I don't like Dracula.
No,
people don't associate the two.
Who would think that a story about a fictional story about a guy that tears people's throats out in the middle of the night and turns them into horrible undead is actually the nicer version? You know, like the Dracula light version. Yeah,
I like them sort of pitching that at the script meeting.
Yes.
Can we soften him a bit? Maybe he doesn't just impale people. Maybe he just sort of eats chunks off their flesh.
Yeah, maybe they don't really die. They just become really pale and listless, like Scottish people, you know. And
unable to go out after midnight. What is that's vampires?
Yeah, daytime. They can't come out in the daytime.
Are they vampires? No.
Yeah, vampires.
Am I confusing genres here?
Vampires cannot take sunlight, apparently.
And what are Draculas?
Well, Dracula is there are no Draculas. It's not a plural. Singular. There's one Count Dracula. It's not Count the Draculas. It's Count Dracula. That's a good place to end, I think.
Producer Lewis here. Thanks for listening to this episode of Where Did Everyone Go? New episodes every Wednesday and Sunday. Follow, comment, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out.